What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Alchemy Pay today, ACH USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. This is a request from a post that I made on X last week saying, throw me some coins. You know, if I think that they look good, I'll talk about them. Somebody was asking about an update on Alchemy Pay, and we had a lot of confidence in Alchemy Pay before this whole bear market turnover happened. I felt like it was appropriate to talk about this, not just because we had a lot of confidence before, but also because I think that the chart actually doesn't look bad here as far as some recovery goes. Now, I'm not talking about kicking up a new bull market or anything like that, but I am talking about some recovery. We are at all-time low levels, right at a double bottom. I mean, literally, quite literally, this is the best time in Alchemy Pay's existence to buy, right? Is this the all-time history? I think it is, but if it's not, maybe there's some history beforehand. I don't know, but if it's not the all-time low, then it's certainly lower than this. And regardless, it's definitely a great time to buy, right? Overall, very sad about this little spillover here. Whatever though, it happens, man. Here we are at about $0.068 right now. We look at the weekly time frame. That's where we're starting off because you do have some nice bullish divergence here on the weekly RSI. That's not to say that you can't go lower. We could go lower first before this bullish divergence exacts itself, but I think that it looks pretty good here. The stochastics are oversold, but you've been oversold for a while. You can stay oversold forever if you really want to, but typically that's not how it is. You do range. I would expect that we get some upside here pretty soon, and the MACD is starting to build bullish momentum again, bouncing off of this area. I like this look a lot. Overall, the MACD is bearish, but this right here is nice to see. I want to look at the short-term stuff and then zoom out, okay? It's been a second, but I just wanted to start off on the weekly time frame there. This is on Coinbase. You've got gaps here to the upside. Not really any gaps to the downside that I see. Every gap seems to have been filled there. You've got some gaps to the upside. Coinbase doesn't like 1 hour gaps, man. And some coins have less liquidity, so they get more gaps, but I would assume that all these gaps do get filled. The 1 hour is not going to help us. It's too neutral. It's too choppy. It's not going to help us at all. 4 hour might give us a little bit more of a bearing here. Looking at this from a low point here to a high point here, we're finding support consistently at the golden ratio zone, which is kind of odd, right? It's one, the golden ratio zone is like you either do find support or you don't find support. So the fact that we're giving it hell, to me, it honestly makes me think more so that we'd go down rather than come up from here. But that doesn't mean that we're going lower than these lows. Typically in this environment, I would expect that we go to the 786, 886 and find support. That would be anywhere from, we're at 00682 right now, anywhere from 0066 to 0065, something in that area for support. We like to come back up. The RSI is neutral. I'm not really getting a beat off of that. The stochastics are weird as well, choppy and sideways. It kind of makes sense. The MACD is also weird. So I'm going to stick with it since the indicators aren't really helping me out here. I'm going to stick with this idea that we could go lower. If I'm wrong, we'll know that I'm wrong once you get above 007. You get above 007 on a 4 hour closing basis, not just a wick, but a closing basis. We get above 007. We're likely then on a path that will take us above these highs, which would imply, maybe a move that's taking us back toward 1 cent. Being here at 0068, that's not bad at all. Let's look at the daily time frame. The daily time frame, the RSI is definitely taking a more bullish stance. We did have some bullish divergence that already played out. You had higher highs here with lower highs. It's hidden bearish divergence. That could explain the pullback that we're seeing. We don't need to go too much lower. You rejected the 50, but you're finding support here at the 40. That's as positive of a look as you probably want to see on a rejection from the 50. You can come lower. You absolutely can come lower, right, and still maintain this upward sloping trajectory. You can break out of that trajectory and still grow from there. Sometimes that happens. But overall, this is, you're in a bearish kind of area with the RSI, but you have a bullish posturing. Which means it looks scary, but I think it's not. Stochastics are neutral. I don't have an opinion on that. The MACD, don't really have an opinion on this either. It's overall bearish, but I like the dynamic that you've got going on here. I mean, building bullish momentum, false cross to the downside, you're building bullish momentum now. I mean, there's good things going on, but not really a whole lot to go off of. Overall, we can see that as you're coming down, this bottom, this kind of trajectory is rounding out. It is, and you know how I feel about a rounded bottom. We all like a nice rounded bottom. It's good to see. But that doesn't mean that you're off to the races right now. Maybe you continue to form this structure, and it could be May before things really start to get exciting. Maybe it's April. maybe even with this rounded bottom idea, you get really some excitement going into April, and you still come back down, and you're furthering this rounded bottom endeavor there. We could see some volatility as we have here. So overall, I definitely do believe that we're at a low point. I don't believe that we go lower than this lower. If we do, it's not going to be too much lower. And it certainly does seem as though things are slowing down as far as the momentum goes to the downside. If we're anticipating a retracement of this overall range, which I am expecting that the crypto markets kind of bounce, that we see a little bit of life come into the altcoin markets specifically, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw a move up to the 382. If not there, somewhere between there and the golden ratio, this is a suitable area for any kind of retracement from a range like this. So, anything from what would be about almost 3 cents, probably not right at 3 cents, but just below, to about 1.5 cents. Again, not at 1.5 cents, but maybe just below there. Something in this range is what I would expect. I personally am expecting that this happens sometime in May, that you're in this range. It could happen as early as April. Just because we're here in April doesn't mean that you're done. You really, I would think May, June would be the time that we find our high point, and then we start to come down June, July, August. That's probably when we start to come back down. It is possible that for Alchemy Pay, this is the extent of your bear market. I doubt it. I think that you probably have a little bit lower to go, but not before coming up above these highs, not before getting people to FOMO back in and panicking and buying at the wrong time. This might be a good point for anybody who's looking to sell and reaccumulate their cash, or redistribute to other things. That might be a good time to make those plays. But at the same time, Alchemy Pay, I think that it will be relevant during the next cycle as well. So if you'd like to hold and stack, there's nothing wrong with that. I would just very much recommend, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'd very much recommend that that nobody buys these upcoming highs. I've got nothing else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to Fonzie. I love you, man. Hope you're doing well. We are building some bullish momentum here on the weekly time frame, and I think your weekly time frame is probably the most bullish thing you've got going on, which is a good thing. You want the weekly looking good is powerful. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.